my beautiful friends, and welcome back to my channel. This is Nova Gnome Creations, and I'm Nova, and I am so happy to see you today. I hope you guys are doing awesome, and I hope that you are taking care of the best that you can. Hopefully you're having a good week so far. If you see a little bit of smoke coming from this way, it's because I have an incense lit over here, just so you guys know it's not a ghost or something. But anyway, I hope you guys are having a good time. It is almost the weekend. You've almost made it there, guys. And tomorrow is Community Spotlight, and Saturday is Gnome of the Month. So just a little reminder, if you guys are wanting to get featured on the channel, Community Spotlight is for any of your makes, any crafty makes, and then Gnome of the Month is for any crafty gnomes. So if you've made any crafty gnomes or just crafty stuff in general that you'd like to share, in the description box below this video, if you click the little read more, there is my email, and you can send me an email. Put Community Spotlight sorry about that. Put Community Spotlight in the subject line, or Gnome of the Month in the subject line, whatever one, depending on what you're sending. And then attach pictures of your makes, and in the email somewhere put what name you'd like me to credit you as when I put together the video. So those are the only requirements. You can say anything else. You can include more info if you want to, but the requirements, like the bare minimum, is I got to know who you are, what to credit you as, and have those pictures. And like I said, put in the subject line if it's for Community Spotlight or Gnome of the Month. And that's really important because I open those when I go to put together my videos. So Community Spotlight videos, I always go into my email, look for the Community Spotlight, big bold-faced unopened emails. Same with Gnome of the Month. If they're bold-faced and unopened, I know I have not put them in a video yet, and that's kind of like my little organization method. So that is how you take part. So if you guys would like to let me know down in the comments below, what are you working on today? Are you working on anything fun? Are you drinking anything yummy? Any of that kind of stuff, let me know. I am currently working on making some granny squares, and I'm actually pretty proud of this color combination. So I wanted to share it with you guys. So here's two of them that I've made so far. I need to make a few more, and they take a long time because I'm doing color changes every round, and then I got to weave in all of those tails. So at the beginning of each round, there is two tails because there's the tail I'm ending with and the tail I'm starting with. And then again, at the end of that round, the tail I'm ending with and the tail I'm starting with. And so in total, I think I had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tails per thing to weave in. But I think they're looking really cool. And these yarns are pairing together so well, I wanted to share with you what I'm doing. So I've got some more colors here that I haven't done yet that I'm planning on using. These are the Caron Simply Soft Little Crafties, is what the skeins are. They come in a pack, and then they're like these little, what do they call these? Bonbons, I think people call these, just like small yarn skeins. They just say yarnspirations.com on them, and they come with like a bunch of different colors. So these are the colors I picked out, and my idea is that I wanted to include as many colors as possible. So I'm doing every round a different color, and then I'm doing a border on them in this big twist value acrylic. This is the colorway of Rainbow Bright, and so that's where that little bit of like brown came from, or black. Actually, I think it's dark blue that came from in the one side over here. But this matches like so perfectly. It's so perfect. The thickness of the yarn, the colors, like it literally like matches so well. Like I couldn't have even imagined. And the colors match super well, but then it gives it something different for the edges, where it's changing colors more frequently, because it's a variegated yarn. So I've got, solid rounds of color change for 4 rounds. Is that 1, 2, 3, 4? Yeah. And then the 5th round is this variegated, and I think it looks so good. So I'm really, really happy with that. And I just got done weaving in the tails on here. And then I'm going to make a few more because I am making a hat. So right now I've got the center started. And this is what it looks like when you're just doing the center. And then now I'm going to change colors. So I need to pick my next color. I think I will do this pretty red. Now, I try to center pull on these. When you try to center pull on these, the one sticking out is always actually the outside yarn, and then you gotta go to the other side and pull it out. And then if you want to center pull on these, you have to pull out like a little clump of yarn barf basically to get it started. So what I've been doing is pulling out that little clump of yarn barf to get it started, and then I use that little clump of yarn barf to make my square, and then I ball up what's left because this will be good for doing squares, just using these little balls that I have to pull out to get it started. So I literally just went ahead and cut that, and now like I'm done with this piece, and I'm just going to use this to make my square, and then I'll ball up the rest like I did. Like I have one of the previous colors over here balled up, and then I can use this on future squares. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm trying not to really have any color repeats. If I do have any color repeats, I don't put them in the same square. So like, for example, if I want to use that pink, I used that pink in the center of the square. I'll use it if I want to use it in this square. I won't use it in the center. I'll use it on a different round so that you don't really notice it. I don't want any of it to be exactly the same, because that was like my my request for this hat, was that it be like super colorful and bright. So I'm like going hardcore with that colorful request and making it as colorful as possible. So got my red yarn, I put a slip knot. Now I'm going to come over here and find the top of my first stitch, and then instead of pulling through in the color I already had, I'm going to pull through in this new color, and I'm going to slip stitch with that new color. Not that this is like a tutorial or anything, but just like kind of telling you what I'm doing. But then you see, you pull through and then you're in the new color on the next round. So that's what I am working on today. I thought I would just pop on and say hello, remind you guys about Community Spotlight and Gnome of the Month this weekend. Also to tell you guys about this really nice yarn combination I figured out, because I did not know that this Big Twist variegated yarn would go so well with this Caron Simply Soft Little Crafties. And by the way, let me finish what I'm doing here real quick. By the way, if you're wondering what this bag looks like, I've got it down here. So it comes with these. I've put the colors that I've used already back in here, and then there's a few colors in here that I didn't use. Like, I was not going to use the gray or the brown, for example, because I didn't think those are colorful. But this is what the bag looks like. So these are just Caron Simply Soft yarns. Each one of these comes with 63 yards in them. They're 20-gram balls. They're worsted weight yarns. Here's the info for you guys if you're interested. And I don't know, I'm assuming this is just like Caron Simply Soft, like their regular value acrylic, but basically just small skeins of it, which is perfect if you are doing amigurumi, which is what I originally bought that for, was the concept of, like needing small amounts of colors. But it's also perfect for doing granny squares. Because, especially if you're wanting to change colors every round, that gives you a nice amount of colors where the yarns are all going to be the same thickness and everything. Typically, I'm not super concerned about that, but this hat isn't for me, so I wanted to make sure, that the yarns are all the same thickness and stuff like that. I like to play around with, like, yarn thickness and kind of change it up. But for the sake of this particular project, I wanted them to all be kind of the same. And when you're doing a granny square, a lot of times you want them to all be the same. The only one that I don't do that with is my mushroom hats. I actually like to do a 3-weight yarn for the background color. I think it makes the mushrooms pop more. So other than that though, I typically, you know, my granny squares, to make them even, I have them be the same. So by the way, guys, this is just a personal preference, but in case you've never thought about it before, when you're doing a granny square, some people chain in between. I think you guys can kind of see what I'm doing from the back. Some people chain in between their clusters. I actually don't chain in between my sides. I just go into my corners without chaining because it creates a gap on its own. Because you're going onto the other side of the cluster. And then when I get to the corners, I actually just chain one. So instead of chaining like 2 or 3, like a lot of tutorials will say, I just chained 1 at the corners because that will create your little corner for you to work into. But you're creating, and I'll show you on one that I've already finished. You're creating, I like this one's colors better. I don't know. I like the purple in the center. You're creating your own corners at the corner by doing that chain 1. But this little cluster right here creates its own little space. And the reason I do that is because it gives you smaller gaps. So you'll notice that as far as granny squares go, this is a relatively like close stitched granny square without very large gaps in between. And that's the reason, is because I do chain 1s only in the corners and I don't do any type of chaining when I'm working on the sides and going to the next cluster. So that's just a little, I don't know if I would say tip necessarily, because it's not like it's the right way versus the wrong way, but it's just a different way of doing it. And that's how I do it, and it makes a closer like stitch, and like it still lays flat and everything. So that's how I do mine. Anyways, guys, that's it. I'm just coming on real quick to say hi, short and sweet. This red and this blue is looking so cute together. Just wanted to show you guys that little yarn pairing and kind of say hi and see what you guys are up to. So I hope you guys are having a great week. I will see you tomorrow for Community Spotlight and Saturday for Gnome of the Month and Pattern Release. I am having a pattern release on Saturday for a gnome. So definitely make sure you guys check that out. I will see you again real soon. Bye, guys.